Hello and welcome to this video, in which I'll be giving you my top 10 for Söngvakeppnin 2025.
A disclaimer. Israel shouldn't be allowed to participate at the Eurovision Song Contest 2025. The shortest and simplest reason being that I find the actions of the Israeli government to be abhorrent and their broadcaster isn't a separate entity. My reasons in their entirety, however, are numerous and too detailed for a disclaimer like this, but videos closely aligning with my point of view are listed in the description. I encourage you to watch those videos and do something. Further resources are added as and when they become relevant. I'll stop addressing this when it no longer needs to be addressed.
As with Finland, I have already given the songs a listen before starting recording. I gave them a listen on the way back from Terrible Influence tour, and honestly, I'm once again not particularly impressed. I decided to give the songs a listen in English if they had an English version, because that implies that the artist will want to sing them in English in the final. Otherwise, why create the English version at all? And then there were two songs left that were in Icelandic that don't have an English version. Apologies for my hair probably constantly changing. They're still a bit wet, so I will keep running my finger through it, I imagine. I'm sorry. Or I might just let it be at some point. I might just give up. I don't know. I don't know how long this video will be because I'm not that impressed by the songs, so maybe I'll just go through them really quickly. But do keep in mind that everyone does always have the potential to elevate with their staging or with their live performance, with their attitude on stage, anything like that. I have also listened to snippets of the songs in Icelandic because they were the ones uploaded in my Eurovision scoreboard. In my 10th spot, I've got Rise Up by Barakadrin. It's got kind of nice lyrics, but they're a bit too on the nose as well, and it overall is just pretty boring to me. Not bad, just a little bit boring. In my 9th spot, I've got Carousel by Dagur Sig. The enunciation wasn't great, and I'm wondering if that is actually something that Dagur might struggle with in day-to-day life, so I apologise, but I don't know Dagur, so within the song it just sounded like the enunciation wasn't great. But it had nice guitar strumming, and the overall song was just kind of nice. There was a theme to it with the carousel, so it was nice, but didn't really grab me in any way. In the 8th spot, I've got Like You by August. It's a pretty basic pop boy song. Will hurt no one, basically, this song. The instrumental was kind of nice, but it was also ancient, so it's just nice. That's what I've got to say about a lot of these songs. They're just nice. In the 7th spot, I've got Northern Lights by Bia, which, apart from I Want to Shine Like the Northern Lights, has very, very basic lyrics. Everything you've heard a million times before. The beat is also a bit too epic for the song, but it's nice enough to listen to, just doesn't quite gel together. In my 6th spot, I've got Words by Tina, which is kind of countryish almost, which I'm asking myself, why does Iceland have this seeming tighter country? I seem to remember there being one song in the national final last year, and then Sister was obviously kind of countryish as well. I mean, one song, Wild West, that being a song that they almost certainly would have qualified with and probably done some good damage in the final too, but because of the mega finals, Kid of Heights won. And don't get me wrong, Hedda was loads of fun, but when it comes to songs, Wild West was way better. But back onto the topic of words, it's a little repetitive, but it does have some fun vocal melodies, so I kind of enjoy it, but just a little bit. In my 6th spot is Athenis Lengur by Bjarni Rasson. It's a very classic ballad, and it's kind of boring overall, but it's also kind of interesting to just hear a sort of Disney-ish ballad in Icelandic, so at least there's something different. I mean, it would also belong in Eurovision 1973 or something, but different for today's Eurovision standards. And he's got a very good voice. In my 4th spot is Storm Chaser by Burgo. It got suddenly louder near the start. I was listening in the car and it just suddenly really exploded. I don't know if that's really the case or if that was something with the car, but that surprised me. It's got a pretty ancient pop drop, and it kind of sounds like maybe it's going to be a little bit dancey, like there might be a dance break. There was a whistle note, which I guess if it's performed well live will be a wow moment, but overall it was a little bit boring to me, but okay enough. Euro dancey stuff. In my 3rd spot, I've got Fire by Juli and Disa. It sounds a little bit like a power ballad, and it goes a little bit into EDM. It's got the rap insert in Icelandic, which is nice. I'm so sorry about my hair. The rap makes it significantly more interesting, but overall I kind of did enjoy the sound as well, so that's why it's become my number 3. In 2nd spot, I do have Set Me Free by Stebiak, which was very repetitive. I like the foundations, but how the house was built, I just don't understand why it was so repetitive. The bridge is the best part of the song, I think. Otherwise, it's pretty basic and boring within the genre, unfortunately. But maybe it will sound more fun in Icelandic if it does get kept in Icelandic after all. I just kind of like this genre in general, so that's why it's ended up so high, I reckon. Which leaves my winner being Roa by Vabe, who I think participated last year. I seem to remember their name, so maybe there was a feature last year though as well. Maybe it works because it's Icelandic and there's no English version, but it's got repetitive lyrics, but the instrumental keeps changing underneath them, and it's like a little bit piratey, which is fun. I think there's an electronic violin or something in there. It's a pretty good party song. This would have a chance at qualifying for Iceland, and Iceland hasn't qualified in a couple of years, so could be good for them. Maybe I should have listened to the songs in Icelandic, judging by the conclusion that my number one is in Icelandic, because then they would have had an even playing field. But since they're probably sending the English ones to Eurovision, if they get chosen, then I wanted to listen to the English ones. It's difficult to choose with Iceland. Not just for Iceland, this year as a whole with the national finals so far seems to just be filled with increasingly boring songs as compared to last year. None of them are really bad. They're just getting more and more average within their genres everywhere, almost as if AI is making them, which I really doubt it is, because that would be such a crazy scale to have AI songs at. But everything is just getting more and more boring, and I wonder if they're doing safe songs because of the dramas of last year, and I am a little bit disappointed, but everything does just seem to be congregating around more and more boring songs. I haven't had one single song with the standout or wow effect of Rim Tim Taki Dim, or eventually The Code, or the initial what is this element, like Nendes Narkotimu whatever on earth, the longest song title from Estonia, where it's just weird at first, and I don't know if I like it or not, but it's strange. Nothing is like that this year so far, which is very sad. Okay, back to Iceland. Let's have a little look at the community rankings as well. I don't know who is number one yet. Birgo, followed by Vape. Okay. And there's not a massive gap between them two. That makes sense. Storm Chasers, the Eurovision fan favourite. That would make sense. And then Roa. And then Julian Disa, which was Fire, is third, with a very small points difference with Tina, who's fourth. That was Words. Then Bia with Northern Lights is fifth. August with Like You is sixth. Debiak with Set Me Free is seventh. I was expecting that to be at the bottom of the list, honestly, based on Eurovision fans' taste, usually, so that surprises me a little bit. Barakatrin is eighth, that was Rise Above. Dagur Sig is ninth, that is Carousel, and Adeins Lengur Bjarni Arason is last with quite a big points difference. But honestly, the last three have significantly less points than the first seven, and number 1 and 2 aren't that far apart in points, and then between 3 and 5 there's a somewhat clustering, and 6 and 7. So there's little clusters of points for Iceland. I think Storm Chaser makes sense, being a Eurovision fan favourite, that works out, and they being second is also nice. I don't think it usually would be, but I think with Nendes Narkoti, whatever on earth, the Estonian song, and things of that nature, Eurovision fans are getting more and more used to rap and sounds like that. That's all that I've got to say about the songs for Söngvakeppnin 2025, but please do leave your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm curious to hear what other people have got to say. Maybe you liked one of the songs way more than I liked any of them, and please remember to literally like the video if you liked watching it, and share it with someone else you think might enjoy watching the video as well. If you'd like to, subscribe to the channel for more Eurovision 2025 and beyond content. But thank you ever so much just for watching the video itself though. That's a great help as it is. I really do hope that you enjoyed it, that got something out of it. I'll see you in the next one that shows up on your feed. Bye! Apologies for my hair constantly changing. Once again, everyone...